Well, hi, welcome back. So I noticed that I have almost 400 subscribers, and being that this is happening.
The Commissioner of Social Security came out and said that Elon Musk is dismantling the Social Security Administration so much that he expects that it will collapse within 30 to 90 days. Bernie Sanders says yesterday that people will die. He's not exaggerating. He's not engaging in hyperbole. People will die. I've worked in Social Security for my entire legal career, exclusively in Social Security since 2012. I represent Social Security disability claimants. I've helped them at every step of the way. Currently, I help them once they've been denied throughout the entire system, gone through all the steps, and they are appealing and suing the Social Security Administration in federal court. Throughout the years, clients have died waiting for benefits. It is a slow process. It is a slow system because it is habitually understaffed. Many of these claimants can afford very little medical care. Sometimes they can't afford surgeries, they can't afford copays, they can't afford medications while they're waiting for their benefits to get approved. I've had clients that have lost their house waiting for benefits to be approved. And yes, clients waiting for benefits to be approved to get the treatment that they need have died. If staff gets cut even further, more will die. And this is just talking about the disability benefits, the side that I am familiar with and I can speak to. We're not talking about old age benefits. There are so many senior citizens that live off of Social Security. It's their fixed and only source of income. And if the system starts to collapse, they're in trouble. If the system is even delayed in sending out payments, which they don't get money that month, they might not get food that month, they might not pay their rent or be able to pay for their medications, people will die.
I figured, I should probably keep making videos as, honestly, nobody knows how to make what makes things go viral. Not even the people who make these platforms. They don't even know the secret on what goes viral and how a person can do this for a living. I mean, my channel has no monetization. Fuck capitalism. So, I am disabled, though. I can't work, so this is an issue. That's a different story. But the people who make these platforms, they don't even know what makes things go viral. Beyond, what many far-right channels like, Ben Shapiro's Little Media Network and Tim Pool and all these others, they buy subscribers and buy views, buy likes, buy comments, and I mean, that'll definitely push you up through the algorithm. But if you do it the right way, you depend on people finding your channel, liking what you say, and sharing and all that. So, don't know if that will ever happen, becoming social media famous or being able to do social media for a living is like saying, I'm going to go off to Hollywood and become a famous movie star. So, yay. I really wanted to get the light in so you can see the color of those eyes. It's a very rare genetic mutation I come to find. It's green with flakes of gold. Anyway, so there's been a lot that has gone on, but one thing I really wanted to talk about in this was I really don't know, and I don't think the right wing, the conservatives, the MAGA people, the Republicans, it really doesn't seem like they have any values or principles. I mean, you start off with something like abortion. Oh, they'll never do that, and then they do it. And then, oh, no state will actually do that, and then states do it. And then, oh, no state will actually be, like, too strict about it, and then that happens. And then, oh, you can go to other states to do it, and then they make that illegal. And so on and so forth. And it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I support gay rights. You know, like, probably not these Republicans, they don't really support trans rights, I don't think. So I hate to say LGBTQIA plus rights. I don't think they support all those letters, but I mean, and then it gets released that, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I can show the article. I have it somewhere. If it pops up on the screen, then I found it. But they rolled back a ban on the federal level that banned surveillance of LGBTQIA plus identifying people. So now they can legally act in surveillance of LGBTQIA plus people. So, I mean, you know, so much for not wanting a surveillance state, right? But you ask people today, do you think that a president should be able to run 3 terms? Do you think a president should be instilled till the day they die? Oh no, that's not constitutional. Oh no. I promise you, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I promise you, if Trump finds a way to do it, that narrative will change, because Fox News and other right-wing media outlets, including the independent ones, will give you the excuse. It'll be regurgitated a bunch of times, and then suddenly it'll go from, no, I don't support that, to, I do support that, and for whatever reason, excuse they give. Even though when FDR did it, it was bad, and that's why we made constitutional amendment saying no, only 2 terms. But I'm sure if Trump actually finds a way to run a 3rd term, they will give you your excuse, they will give you your rationalization, and Republicans will regurgitate it and forget that they ever even said they would never support that. This seems to be like the trend. Constantly moving the goalpost over and over and over again. How are we expected to have any kind of dialogue or talk across the aisle or anything when the right wing, the MAGA, the fascists, them and the conservatives, the Republicans, they're constantly moving the goalpost. Oh yeah, we support LGBTQ rights. And then something happens, well, you know, maybe this, and then something else happens. Oh, well, but that, or, well, you know, abortion, you know, is okay in instances, and yada, 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 to, well, maybe women should just think about it. And then, well, you know, Trump shouldn't be a king. He shouldn't be able to serve multiple, like, more than 2 terms, whether it's consecutive or not, to... Eventually, if like I said, if he does, I guarantee you, like, take a permanent marker, write it on your wall. I do not think a president should run more than 2 terms. Whether it's consecutive or not, that is unconstitutional. I don't support that. And then, if it happens, the narrative's going to change. Oh, but it's not consecutive, or something, whatever the excuse will be. Yep. Constantly moving the goalpost, constantly shifting values, constantly shifting principles, and it gets you to the point where it's like, do you even have values? What are your values? What are your principles? It just sounds like it's an ever-changing landscape based on what right-wing media tells you to think and believe. for the right-wing conservative people that are out there. But first, before I get into this, because there's some really interesting things going on that it's like, did the right wing really mean for us to side with Russia, with BRICS, with just leave Western democracy behind, and let's join this sort of neo-Eastern capitalist imperialist conquest? I mean, a lot of these countries were thought to be communistic. So that's kind of weird. Except when you start looking at the far right, you get a little bit of a different narrative. So it seems like some people on the left sort of have this fetishization over the USSR and don't really want to come to terms with the fact that it's not there anymore and that these countries changed. And for the far right, I think the very, very far right, you know, those people, the Nas boys, they seem to recognize this, and I don't think they have an issue. But for the average conservative, average Republican, was that what you intended? Did you want America to side with what was essentially what used to be the communist empire? Isn't that interesting? So before I go into that, I have to address some of the fellow comrade leftists out there real quick. So, communists out there. I'm not a communist, okay? I'm not a communist. So I don't entirely understand this. So, to put it quickly, I've made it in comments before. So this was something that had to do with Hassan Piker, a tanky, which to me it seems like, I don't know if he's deliberately or accidentally, and this also applies to Bad Empanada, siding with MAGA. I don't know if that's deliberate and intentional, but it seems like they're handing over the election and American politics over to MAGA, which they see as a Nas boy movement. So this is kind of a response to something, a video that somebody made about Hassan. I said, I didn't watch the video. I don't watch Hassan. I'm not a communist. I don't know. I haven't watched the video. I saw the title and thought, yes, he is. I fail to see how he is advocating for an egalitarian dream by pandering to countries that would have LGBTQIA plus people slaughtered. In all honesty, the communist community is really confusing me lately. They seem to have much in common with today's far right-wing MAGA, as Trump is making allies with Russia, North Korea, and others. To my understanding, they have sort of this same goal. It's like if they achieve economic egalitarianism, that's enough for them and no need for social egalitarianism. They seem to constantly accidentally support political moves that further the fascist agenda at this day and time. Putin is trying to establish just another goddamn imperialism. Him, along with BRICS, is engaging in mass capitalism, pure exploitation, subjugation, oppression, and suppression of minorities, and engaging in marginalization. If you infiltrate the far-right fascist digital space, you'll find that they do support Russia, North Korea, and China. I have receipts for this. I'll get into that later. The reason the fascists give is, quote, they are a homogeneous society ran by a dictatorship. This is why so many of the far right don't mind selling the US out to Putin. It's their wet dream. It's a homogeneous society of white people ruled by an authoritarian strongman with a massively growing economy under BRICS, which is highly capitalistic. They also severely oppress LGBTQIA plus people there, and I would point to see Pussy Riot and Welcome to Chechnya if you want receipts on that. Why are they supporting something that's so antithetical to the ultimate egalitarian and to ultimate egalitarianism, and making arguments that seem to accidentally support Trump? Maybe I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not a communist. I'm an anarchist or libertarian socialist, whatever you prefer. I think I'm a little bit more complicated than one label. Any communist is more than welcome to explain to me what the idea is if I've got this wrong. I'll say this final thing, though. I think Hassan Piker damn well knows why they have more trans people in some of those countries than gay people. The way the laws work in some of those countries is to transition and live as a second-class citizen or die. This doesn't sound like the leftist project, so I'm confused. Same kind of commentary I gave to somebody I know who identifies as a communist, and I consider them a friend of mine, but I said to her, I'm really confused about something. Maybe you can help me understand. Why are some communists aligning with the agenda of the far-right fascists like MAGA? Like, Putin has created their wet dream. It's a homogeneous white society ruled by an authoritarian strongman. They also love it because it's deeply capitalistic, as BRICS' economy is soaring through the roof. He's trying to create another imperialist conquest. He and most of his allies are massively oppressive in creating marginalized groups, especially that of LGBTQIA plus community. Again, see Pussy Riot, Welcome to Chechnya. And many of the countries with high populations of trans people, they are made to live as second-class citizens, which isn't the leftist project of ultimate egalitarianism. Fascists openly support Russia, North Korea, and China because they are, and I quote, as well as have receipts, if needed, a homogeneous society ran by a dictatorship. What's going on with this? Like, is it economic egalitarianism and boom, done? Like, they aren't going to care about social egalitarianism? I don't know. I'm not a communist. I'm an anarchist. I think we're a little different. I'm just trying to understand. So to any communist out there, I welcome any kind of feedback on this. I don't understand that. It was explained to me that it's something that's sort of fractured in the communist community between the tankies or ML. I don't know what that means. And others that just don't like both sides, the Ukrainian or the Russian. So I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, that is the truth. And I'm about to display that for the Republicans who think that MAGA and the people who have infiltrated the Republican Party that think that that's not far right. I do have receipts. Thank you for listening, communists. Hopefully you can fill me in. Like I said, I'm not a communist. You know, I am a leftist, but I'm not a communist. So I don't know what the goal there is. Russia is not it's not a communist country. So yeah, I think you could argue North Korea is, like, and again, something that I would call, I don't know if this is the proper term for it or not, but it's almost like something I would call conservative economic egalitarianism. Because it's like they have the economic egalitarianism, but they are not socially egalitarian. So what gives? Is it just, oh, we've achieved economic egalitarianism and fuck the humanitarianism and the egalitarianism on social issues? I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. I think both are needed. So that's the leftist, the project right there. It's not just economic egalitarianism, it's social too. Anyway, thanks, communists. Now let's go back. All right. So to the conservatives out there. So the thing is, do you remember, like, this is how I know that they stand with Russia, North Korea, and China. And I would say China is not a communist country because they don't even have economic egalitarianism. Oh, but they read Marx. Yeah, but they have sweatshops where the poverty level there is insane. I mean, people who work in those sweatshops live in them. That's not economic egalitarianism. There are many that even argue they're not. I mean, they have this weird title like a capitalist communist economy. But remember that the far right interacted with me. I actually did an interview with a Nas boy a while back. Believe the video is still up. Hail to Caesar. Cute little dog whistle there for Caesar, you know, the Roman emperor. With more little dog whistles of stormtroopers from Star Wars. And yeah, that's where he said that, was in that interview. Like, I have this here. Ooh, look, dirty pictures. Dirty pictures, airing out your dirty laundry. So, in there, he explained to me why they stand with Russia, North Korea, and China, and specifically stated it's because they are a homogeneous society ruled by a strong man authoritarian or dictator. So Russia is strange. They say that they have a democracy, but their democracy is highly broken. You might even say that some of the actions that are going on with Trump and his administration are not just getting rid of a liberal sort of democracy, putting our democracy, our representative democracy, our constitutional republic, we can debate semantics all day, in decline. And he could be argued that he is pushing us towards a patriarchal democracy, which some economic professors have argued that patriarchal democracy is even worse than fascism. Under patriarchal democracy, no, just because you're white, cis, heterosexual man doesn't mean that you'll have voting rights or power. Under patriarchal democracy, it's literally only cis, white, heterosexual men that are elite. And patriarchal democracy has been responsible for wiping entire cultures, languages, and people off the face of the planet, enslaving people like black people, and sort of doing chattel slavery to women, and slapping the label freedom on it, and got away with it, pretty much. And in fact, there are many, many, many aspects of patriarchal democracy, of things that the United States has done in its past, enslavement, what we did to the Native American people, the oppression, eugenics too. These things Mussolini and Hitler looked at as deep inspiration, probably even more inspirational to them than Friedrich Nietzsche. I mean, shit, you can make a Nietzschean argument against nationalism. You could use Nietzsche's arguments for metaethics. I mean, yeah, Hitler was inspired by the idea of the Übermensch, but like Nietzsche's philosophy on the Übermensch was like this, and there's all these other philosophies that just kind of... And not everything that Nietzsche did, I think, was great. He had some pretty poor takes on women. That kind of sucked. He didn't really say anything about LGBTQIA plus people, even though he was surrounded by them based on where he lived and stuff. So, but yeah, I got a screenshot here, so I don't know. I'm going to flash that very, very quickly because I think that might be bad on YouTube. But it said in there, it's Nas boys that's saying they stand with North Korea. So, yeah, that's, told you I had receipts for this. I really think what's going on, like the social media is just full of Russian and Chinese bots. Now, I think the reason why Russia and China are doing this, why they're flowing social media with all these propaganda bots, is because that oftentimes bolster far-right, white nationalist, white supremacist sort of conspiracies and talking points. I think they're doing it because they just hate us. They hate the United States, and they would like to see us erode from within. However, the Nas boys, the fascists, the far-right people, I don't think they have an issue with this because, well, that's kind of their agenda anyway. So they probably love that all these conservative people are being brainwashed by all this propaganda. So... Sorry about I mean, it's not my dog. I can't do anything about it. Anyway, so I think that's part of what's going on. I mean, you even have examples of this. I mean, you know, it was discovered not too long ago, Tim Pool and other right-wing independent media sources with very, very big channels bought subscriptions and likes and comments was being paid for by a Russian media source. Oops. And actually, that's not surprising to me. I've caught Tim Pool using a Russian propaganda bot off Twitter. He showed this video of a gender studies teacher who was criticizing pedophilia. And all the students started going, boo, boo. And Tim Pool goes, oh, I have the citation of the source in the description. So I went ahead and I clicked on that description, and I clicked on that source, and it took me to a place on Twitter. There's this Twitter profile, and it's like, how is this a credible source? This is just some random nobody on Twitter. But I start scrolling through, and it becomes very abundantly clear and obvious at post after post after post that this is nothing more than a Russian propaganda bot. I mean, it's sitting there talking about how, like, oh, Putin is such a great man. He's taking care of all the Ukrainian soldiers. It's very obvious it was a Russian propaganda bot. So I'm not really shocked when that news broke out that Tim Pool was being paid by a Russian media company. I'm not shocked. I've seen him do that before myself, my own investigation. So the real question is hey, Republicans, did you mean to get a guy in office that wants to be an authoritarian strongman that aligns himself with another authoritarian strongman, that Trump is aligning us more with BRICS, the old communist countries that aren't so communist, and really are creating a neo-Eastern capitalist imperialist conquest? Are you excited about joining up an alliance with Russia and North Korea and China? Are you excited about that? And the, how many, like 30 some odd countries associated with BRICS? Are you excited about that? Was that your intention? Side with the communist people? Was that your intention? Because congratulations, you did it. You did it. And I think there's a lot of communists out there that are very happy about it. Yeah. Oh, it's great. And here's some memes, actually, about, America being West Russia. So, one of the things that I thought was very curious about all this is Trump is trying to turn away from Western democracies, the West in general, G7, aligning himself more on the side of BRICS, kind of sticking his middle finger out to NATO, which would be Russia's wet dream, by the way. And everything that he's doing, I can't stress this enough, he is siding with countries that previously, I don't think any Republican would have ever agreed with. What are your values? What are they? Is it because BRICS has an ever-growing economy? Is that what it is? Is that what the protect our way of life is? Is that we're leaving G7 and Western democracies so we can join up with BRICS because their economic growth and their presence on the world stage has grown over G7? Is that what it is? Is it because we're suddenly cool with economic egalitarianism and socialism? Is that what it is? Huh. So I've already illustrated why the far right, the Nas boys, the fascists, why they like this. But to all the normal, like Republican right-wing people that do not identify with this Nas boy fascist far right sort of thing, is that what you wanted? Is that what you intended? Do you still have values to say, no, I don't want that. I want to remain with the West, with Western civilizations? Just curious. So, now, I keep bringing up Pussy Riot and Welcome to Chechnya. I don't have any clips from Welcome to Chechnya, but in the description, you should check out the description. There is a lot of fun things down there to help expand your knowledge, your mind and understanding. I will have things about Welcome to Chechnya, what that is about, why these countries are not socially egalitarianism, if you need help with that, other leftists. And I just to be clear, if you are a leftist, I am too of the opinion that we don't have time for infighting, that we should stand in solidarity together, because right now, what Trump is doing is insane. It's insane. And it's antithetical to the leftist project. I mean, even in the most moderate sense. So, no, I would think even if you were just a Republican, like just a old school Republican, I don't think you would be for this. Even if BRICS has a soaring economic presence on the world stage. But in case we need reminders, like so with Pussy Riot, what happened with Pussy Riot is this was a group of feminist, lesbian, punk rock protesters that were protesting the anti-LGBT laws that exist in Russia. Chechnya is all about that. It's dark and twisted. They actually have like an underground railroad system to try to funnel LGBTQIA plus people out of the country because of all the horrible things that they do to us LGBTQIA plus folks over there. They try to look for countries that will take them in as they flee as refugees from Russia and get put into other countries under amnesty laws. Because if they stay in Russia, there's a high likelihood that they will be beaten, raped, and even murdered, if not just arrested. But that's what the whole story of Pussy Riot is. This here is a clip of a band called Men. It's the band is all trans people. Every single one of them is trans. And this song that they made, they say "Let me out," I say, or "Let me in," something like that. But that song was to stand in solidarity with the punk band Pussy Riot, protesting against Putin and his discriminatory positions and laws and stances against LGBTQIA plus people. And this is a screenshot of KMFDM, an anarcho industrial punk band, doing the same thing. I'm not going to play their song. I'm sketchy on playing music from bands. I mean, copyright stuff. So, that's a thing. And also in China, we could bring up the Uyghurs. We could bring up that there are pro-democracy protesters in China, and the whole Uyghur thing in China too. So that's a thing. And I mean, I'm curious, though, if Trump does pull out of NATO, if he does pull out of all these things that put us with Western democracies and keeps sucking up to Putin to try to join BRICS and the Eastern capitalist imperialist conquest that Putin is trying to do, because it's not just Crimea that he wants. He also wants Alaska back, as depicted in this piece of propaganda. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I will leave the link to that in the description. This was done by a grade school teacher with her students, and to stand to show their support of Uncle Vova, which is what they call Putin in Russia, for this Eastern capitalist imperialist conquest being done by Putin. And they mention they want Alaska back. So if you want to see that full clip or that full music video, I'll have that description. It does have an age block on it. You have to be 18 years of age or up to be able to watch that video. There's also this other piece of Russian propaganda news source that I found, and I find it interesting some of the things that they talk about in it sound almost exactly like things that Trump, J.D. Vance, and Fox News have said. And even though Trump is kissing up to Putin, Putin still doesn't like the United States. And he thinks Trump is an idiot. But I'll play a clip of this piece of Russian propaganda if you want to see the full thing. It's almost an hour long, but it's Russian media propaganda, and you can go watch it and you can see the stunning similarities between what they report and what MAGA reports and what Trump is doing.
He even visited Schroeder's home on his 60th birthday. Same with former French President Nicolas Sarkozy. He visited Moscow even after leaving office. In 2023, he defended Putin's invasion, which is clearly a sign of closed ties. Another example is Italy's former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. He partied and hunted with Putin. So my point is simple. The Russian president may be rough around the edges, but he gets along with most people and gets along well. In that sense, Trump is not the exception here. He is the norm.
So, yeah, I mean, was that your intent, Republicans? I mean, you keep talking about how much you like the Constitution, Western civilization, blah, 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 but let's be real. Russia is the Nas Boys' like wet dream. It's a white, homogeneous society ran by a strong man authoritarian. And in fact, there was a far-right Canadian guy that was like, oh, I'm sick of all these gay pride flags. I'm sick of all this diversity and cultural inclusion. I'm going to move to Russia. And we've seen Tucker Carlson do this too. Like, oh, look at Russia. Isn't it beautiful? You know, it turns out this guy from Canada, though, he moves to Russia. He finds out living under authoritarianism isn't so cool after all. And he's desperately trying to get back and can't. Oops. That's a big oops. Oopsies. What is Trump going to do, though, if Putin asks for Alaska? What is your position going to be, MAGA, far right, Nas boys, but mostly I'm talking to just regular conservatives that don't identify with those things. What is going to be your response if Trump just says, okay, Putin, here you go, have Alaska, because we want to join BRICS. We want to be in allyship with you because of your growing economic world presence. What are your values? Are you going American patriotism? Are you? What is it? You know, stop moving the goalposts. Which is it? We already know what the very, very, very far right thinks. You already know what the left thinks. We don't like any of this. All this is crap. I mean, gutting Social Security. And the thing is like, there is no solution to this. Like, the Republicans are doing this. They don't have any solution to this. Okay? Like, I want another FDR in office. That's what I want. And I know that makes a lot of right-wing people cringe. But this is not normal, what Trump is doing. This is not a sign of a functioning government. So he made it so the DEI getting rid of thing, he made it so companies can openly discriminate against LGBTQIA plus people, yes. And I happen to be a gay married man. So maybe for many of you, you think good. But it's not just LGBTQIA plus people of color and women as DEI hires. It's disabled people. And if you allow for companies to go, not just look at a person who's disabled and say that's an unreasonable accommodation, but look at a person who's disabled and just outright say, I'm not hiring them because they're disabled. Reasonable accommodation or not. And then you get rid of disability. You get rid of the SSA. People who are retired that can't work, this affects them too. SNAP benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, all that. You're still paying taxes. And you don't want all these people filling up the streets and being homeless when somebody's literally disabled and literally can't work, and the government has made it so that they can legally discriminate against them. And you don't want all these homeless people on the street. What is the solution exactly? What are people who can't work? What are they supposed to do? What's the solution to that? It really almost feels like the Republican stance on this is that if you can't work, you're supposed to just lay down and die. I know the whole, your friends, family, and community are supposed to take care of you, churches and blah, 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 whatnot. Okay. Not everyone has access to those resources. That is not a good solution. That's like a sliver. Like if you were planning a solution, that would be part of it, but not the whole thing. This is literally creating a problem in and of itself that doesn't need to be. And all the solutions to that problem are solutions that for some reason the right wing doesn't like. Okay? So if we don't like the socialist nanny state, I hate that it's referred to that, because it's like, look, this is so beneficial to society in so many fucking ways. Like, I don't know how you could be against this. If paying taxes towards a system that takes care of us and taking care of, it's not the government taking care of you, it's giving you a stipend income so you can retain your independency. If it was an actual nanny state that was taking care of you, you're talking about like a long-term care facility. It's not the same thing. So being able to give people this income allows them to retain their independency and live independently and stimulate the economy by buying the things they need. So what is the solution? And that's the thing. I don't think there is one. I'm still really confused on the values. Oh, we don't want to live in a surveillance state. Government approves a thing that makes it so LGBTQI people can be surveilled. Oh, but that's okay. Again, you keep moving the goalpost. You have no values. You just do whatever the right-wing media box tells you. They keep feeding you your opinion, your excuses, your rationalizations, and it just gets me to wonder, do you have any values of your own? Do you? Because it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't. It really doesn't. We got planes falling out of the sky because, they took a hatchet to the, the FAA. Hopefully everybody gets their taxes back with what they're doing to the IRS. That's something to consider. And like I said, we're still paying taxes. So what is the point of gutting all this stuff? what is it supposed to do for you? Because it's not doing anything except making everybody's lives miserable. So, like, what the hell are the values of... That's the ultimate message. That's the ultimate message. I don't think they have any values. I think they literally just watch Fox, watch right-wing media, listen to Trump, and then, boom, they just do whatever those things say. I have an internal value system of, like I said, I want egalitarianism. I want humanitarianism. I want people to not be subjugated and oppressed. I think people should have full rights of their bodily autonomy. This is one of the reasons I'm in favor of a safe supply for people with substance use disorders. And if it's subsidized, then there is no incentive to get people on it through capitalism. So, I mean, there's moderate things. There's more far left, very far left completely obliterate capitalism. And the more moderate stance, though, is just to keep our liberal democracy, have a mixed economy of socialism and capitalism, and subsidize the things that are more needed in life, such as medical care, housing, food, controlled environment. So I stick to those values, to those principles. And this is why, like, when you criticize Biden all you want, that's fine with me. There's certainly things to criticize there. The thing is that pushing society forwards towards an anti-Darwinian society, to where people have better, more quality lives across the board, where homelessness is eradicated. This is an ongoing thing that never stops. And then, I suppose the extreme far right, they have some values and principles, like this guy here. Like things like, if World War III starts, the left will be hunted down like feral swine. I'm okay with putting them in camps. And Putin is a better human than anyone from the left. Again, prime example. And that's, like the Republicans, like my grandparents out there. Is that what you intended? I mean, do you have values? Because if I would have talked to you about Putin and Russia and North Korea and China and being allied with them not even in the distant past, just a year ago. Didn't even have to be a year ago. It could be 6 months ago. They would have been like, no, absolutely not. Congratulations, MAGA. You elected a man that's going to ally us with what was essentially a circle of communist countries. China is still like on a big, massive scale, like really, really loves Marx. Like really loves him. They celebrate Marx's birthday every year in China. So, congratulations. you might be standing right next to a communist with similar goals. But that's where I'm confused. Like, that was the beginning of the video. That was for the communists out there. Because I don't think all of them are like that. But I find that ironic. Yeah. Family values, but, we're going to go and rip up a ton of families in the name of family values. Again, moving the goalpost, constantly shifting that goalpost, constantly. Pro-Constitution, except when Trump doesn't like it. Again, moving goalpost after goalpost after goalpost. It says to me, like, it's hard, really is hard to, I really don't think, to all the sane, rational, normal people out there, my fellow leftists, I don't think the right has values. I think the NPC meme might actually be 100% accurate. Yeah. So, I know this video is just going to make a lot of people on the right so mad. So mad. Well, I'm so sorry, but not really. I mean, they're tearing down the SSA. They are trying to repeal gay marriage in 9 fucking states. They've pretty much marked every trans person in the United States with their biological sex on everything. And the thing that's bothersome, I think, the most is, like when you're actually trying to do something that involves your ID, you're pretty much, the moment you hand it over, that person is outing themselves of what they are. So it's basically like having a mark on you. We've never seen that before, have we? Oh wait, yeah, we have. Like, in case you didn't understand, yes, we have. I mean, Trump is trying to deport Puerto Ricans. That's an American... That's one of our fucking territories. What the fuck? You're gonna deport them back to America? So, yeah, I'm not racist, but has a whole new meaning now. Yeah, you are. What's the need for the but then? So, I'm sorry if it pissed you off, but not really, because, I mean, what they're doing, this is not democracy. This is eroding our democracy. Really bad. And, I mean, to the Nas boys and stuff out there, I'm sure they think that's great. But if you truly respect the nation, like Constitution and traditional conservatism, this does not align with that value. Therefore, I don't think you have any. You say today, no, I don't think a president should ever run 2 terms. And then when Trump tries, watch, you're going to change your mind. And I don't think every right-winger out there is a fascist. I don't think they are. But I think the fascists are producing propaganda that's brainwashing you. And I do think that Russian and Chinese bots are producing propaganda for a different reason, but it's very far-right propaganda. And I think that's brainwashing people too. And I think if you had values that you stuck to, values and principles that you actually stuck to in your heart of heart and mind of mind, you would be like the Lincoln Project in this and looking at this and going, no, this is not business as usual. This is, our representative democracy is in a decline. So no, I don't care if you're pissed. I think that you should step back and look at what's happening objectively and stop being scared to consume media that right-wing media tells you not to consume because you might get brainwashed or something. Start consuming other media, see what other people have to say. You know, maybe the left is right on this one. Maybe. But I guess if you don't get out of your echo chamber, you'll never know. Can't say that I haven't gotten out of mine. Remember, a bunch of far-right people, I don't know what they were doing, but, they aired out their dirty laundry to a leftist. Did you think you were ever going to convince me? I've been pretty full front and honest about it the whole time. I'm a leftist. Always have been. Probably always will be. I don't see that changing. I guess that's all there is to say about this. So, have fun with it. Like, share, subscribe, and comment and all that stuff. And I'm out.